Hello and welcome back to Teacher Talk. Before we get into our discussion on English language learners, we, your hosts, are going to introduce ourselves and tell you a little bit about us as elementary education students. So I will go first. My name is Alyssa Joyce, and I am a junior here at Iowa State University, getting my endorsement in English language arts.
Hi, I'm Alani Derecho. I'm a sophomore, and I'm also getting my endorsement in English language arts.
Hi, I'm Libby Greener. I'm a sophomore here as well, and I'm getting my endorsement in mathematics.
And the last one, I'm Gracie Briney, and I'm a sophomore, and my endorsement areas are special education, ELA, reading, and coaching.
Yeah. Well, Judy Haynes, an Education Week teacher, said that teachers need to give encouragement and praise for what ELLs can do instead of dwelling on all that they can't yet do by providing frequent opportunities for their success. And that is exactly what we are going to be talking about today. Yes. We're going to be talking about English language learners, what it means to be an ELL, the challenges that ELLs face here in the United States, and then how we as educators can help them be more successful academically. So in my own words, I would describe an English language learner as a student whose primary language is not English and who are working to develop proficiency in reading, writing, and speaking it. The National Center for Education Statistics says that as of fall of 2021, the U.S. average of students who were ELL was 10.6%. And just to kind of put things into perspective, there are around 54 million K through 12 students in the U.S., so that's around 5.3 million students who are ELL.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's really eye-opening. I think that at first 10.6% might not seem like that much, but when you think about, that's 5.3 million ELL students is double the amount of students in Iowa alone. Mm-hmm. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just comparing this to 10 years prior, the national average in 2011 was 9.4%. And this source came from Education Week.
The native language of a vast majority of ELL students in the United States is Spanish, with 76.4% of students speaking it.
And like you said earlier, these are from 2021, so this is 2026. So I bet you can only imagine how much these numbers have grown over the past 5 years.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, these experts are saying that these numbers are only going to continue to increase if there aren't any changes being made with our school systems and if teachers aren't aware of this and aware of how we need to make changes to our curriculum and our classroom environments, then there can be a lot of problems that arise for our ELL students.
Yeah, school can be really hard for ELL students, and not just because of the homework and tests, which I think a lot of people forget. It's just the language itself and that language barrier. It makes it difficult for students to learn new subjects. Even small things like listening to instructions and participating in discussions is just really hard. Dakota Literacy said that constantly thinking your own language makes it so much harder to express your ideas in English.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think about I worked at a school that was pretty low income areas, and it was really important to have associates and paras who were bilingual and could support those students, especially when they're just starting to learn the language, to help them, first of all, understand the language, and second of all, understand what the teacher is talking about in the classroom. So that's important.
Yeah. It really puts things into perspective with how hard it is for ELL students day to day, because that's their life when they're at school here in the U.S. It's not just for one class period. That's all of the time.
Yeah, I totally agree. I remember in high school, it's so hard. It was so hard for me to think in English, and some of the things we would write would be in English, and then we would have to snap and switch into Spanish and speak out loud in Spanish. I think that's just one thing you forget, is that they are thinking in their own mother language. On to my next point, testing is really hard for ELL students because it usually doesn't accurately reflect their knowledge. They might know the material and know it in their head in their language, but then because their language barrier, their grade might not reflect their tests that they're taking in English because they don't know this stuff in English. They know it in their own language, so it just doesn't truly reflect what they know and understand of the content you're teaching, which can be really discouraging for the students that are working really hard.
Yeah, and branching off of Libby's point, imagine a student who understands the math concept perfectly fine, but during a class discussion they don't raise their hand at all because they're worried about saying the wrong answer in English. But even though they know it, the language barrier keeps them completely silent. They spend way more time trying to figure out the wording and the concept of the questions than actually showing what they know. I agree that this does make a student feel very discouraged.
Yeah.
So even something as simple as having the questions on a homework assignment or a test translated to their language can help so much for them.
And the way schools are set up can unintentionally and inevitably make it harder for ELL students, but there are definitely ways that you can find to support students and make a huge difference in their learning. Even just watching this and taking the time to understand the challenges that they're facing can be the first step in helping your students succeed.
So now that we've kind of discussed a little bit about the challenges in schools, I kind of want to talk about what this looks like in Iowa specifically for ELL students. Some of this matters because in Iowa, teachers are legally required to support ELL students. So the Code of Iowa says the districts must have a plan in place to identify and serve students who are considered limited English proficient. This information comes directly from the Iowa Department of Education.
And again, the number of ELL students is only increasing
Right.
in our country. So it's literally inevitable that each one of us as education majors, once we get into our career and start teaching, we will have at least one ELL student in our classroom.
Right. And I think I read the top native languages in Iowa for ELL students are French, Spanish, Swahili, and Arabic, which is interesting. Just highlights how diverse our classrooms in Iowa are and how they've become. And this is all from the Department of Education. So when we look at these numbers over time, the growth is significant. So during the 2000 school year, ELL learners made up about 2.3% of student population. And then fast forward 2023 school year, this increases 6.9%, so around 25,000 students here in Iowa in our classrooms. ELL students are not limited just to a few areas. They're present in classrooms all around the United States, but I wonder why certain parts of Iowa they have such a high number of ELL students. And so I know my experiences job opportunities. Maybe there's a big company that attracts diverse populations of people.
I'm interested to see what the numbers will continue to look like in the future. And the growth that they're having is really showing how important it is to learn how to best support ELL students in our own classrooms.
Right. I think they took a look into the graduation rate. And so in 2009, the graduation rate was 64%. And then by 2021, it was 70.4% for ELL learners. So that's around a 6% increase.
Yeah.
Still showing room for growth and for students and for teachers.
We're doing something right, I guess.
Yes, right.
Those numbers are going up for sure.
Yeah.
Another topic is when teachers support English language learners. You can definitely see a difference in the classroom. For example, something as simple as visuals, gestures, and clear routines really help students understand what's going on without feeling overwhelmed. I feel like they're more willing to participate just because they're not constantly confused.
Right.
On Color in Colorado, they claim that teachers can support English language learners by creating welcoming classroom environments, partnering with families, and using specific language and content instruction strategies tailored to students' needs. And by making the classroom feel welcome, students feel seen. And when students feel comfortable and seen, they're more confident in speaking up and taking risk with English. You also see growth with teachers using strategies like sentence starters or partner talk. Instead of putting students on the spot, they're you can give them tools to practice language in a low stressful way, which helps them build both academic skills and confidence.
It's very true.
I think it's important to emphasize how much the environment matters of your classrooms, because otherwise if kids aren't comfortable, they lose out on a lot of learning opportunities.
To wrap it up, as future educators talking about ELL, it really matters to us because there are students we're going to see in our own classrooms in the future, and they bring us so much knowledge, culture, and potential with them. And it's our responsibility to make sure language isn't a barrier to their success. We hope this conversation got you really thinking and helped highlight why supporting English language learners truly matters. So thank you for tuning in with Teacher Talk.
Yes, thank you.
I'm Alyssa Joyce.
I'm Alani Derecho.
I'm Libby Greener.
And I'm Gracie Briney.
And this has been Teacher Talk.